Hey, love. Welcome to No Matcha, No Mama, the podcast where we pour a little matcha and a whole lot of truth. Every week, I sit with someone I admire, founders, healers, creatives, and friends, and we share a matcha I've crafted just for them. Everything here is intentional. The ingredients in your cup, the energy that we bring, the stories that we open. But this is more than just a podcast. It's a space for feeling seen, understood, and reminded that whatever you are walking through, you are not walking through it alone. At its heart, this show is about exploring how we can truly thrive through all the mess and magic of being human. There's also a space to explore the evolving world of longevity and aging well, from new discoveries and treatments to practices that actually make a difference in our lives so that we can keep showing up for ourselves, our families, our communities, while remembering that we are all figuring it out as we go. And here we start with matcha, because how we start matters. Today on No Matcha, No Mama, I am sitting with Olivia Rose Thomas and Kayma Wolday, and they are the duo behind the podcast Inspired Delusions. Great title, by the way, guys.
Thank you.
Individually, they're both incredible at what they do. But together, they've created this really powerful space where mindset, identity, and manifestation and real life transformation actually makes sense. Yeah. Their approach is grounded, intentional, and rooted in lived experience. And I'm excited to dive into the way that they think, the way that they teach, and the way that they help people shift their lives from the inside out. So I'm really, really excited to have you guys. Let's dive in.
Thank you. We are so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Yes. So excited.
I made you guys a vanilla matcha.
Mm-hmm. It's delicious. I was just saying that I'm not usually a matcha girl, but this is actually really good.
I'm
glad.
This
is helping me
become a matcha girl.
Yeah, becoming a matcha girl. Exactly.
Well, I'm so glad.
Yes.
Matcha is obviously my ritual because no matcha, no mama. Mm-hmm. So for each of you, I was wondering, what's like the ritual that sets your tone for the day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is definitely going to be meditation. That's the first thing that I do. I wake up, I meditate, I sit with myself, because if I don't start the day with myself, however I start the day is usually how I want to grab more dopamine throughout the day. So it's if I'm mindful with myself, I'm meditating, I'm grounded in that, it's I can always fall back on myself throughout the day.
Yeah. Meditation is definitely a big part of starting my day as well. And also just being delusional of setting my intentions every day that today is going to be a great day because, again, however you start your day, it's kind of priming your brain. So if you're saying today is going to be a great day, your brain's going to be searching for ways to make today great. So yeah, every day I set my intentions and say today is going to be a great day.
That's beautiful. I actually started doing that recently.
Okay, nice.
Today is going to be the best day ever.
Yes.
Chloe. So I was like, that's a great thing to start my day with. I'm going to do that too.
Exactly.
I write that in my journal. And I can't always meditate because I find that my mind actually runs too fast. And I just did an energy work session and she was like, you'd actually do better if you did a walking meditation or breath work during your meditation because of the way that you are. And it might be better to do movement while you meditate so you have something to focus on. And I was like, wow, that really hits because I can't just sit here and ground in. I need to be doing something. So she gave me this roller thing and I was like, oh, I should go like this when I meditate too.
Giving yourself something to do.
Yeah, to focus on so that my mind, I'm not focusing on
there's a lot of thoughts coming in.
Yeah, so many.
I feel like that's a big misconception about meditation is people think there's only one right way to do it.
Yeah.
Or that if you're not tapped into some, higher mystical power, it's oh, I'm doing it wrong. Or
there's no right way.
There's no right way. Just taking the time and being intentional is perfect.
And trying to be grounded and with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of our clients say that they, have trouble meditating and then they'll do a walking meditation, for example. And yeah, that's an amazing way to do it. As long as you're, spending some type of time in your day, being intentional with yourself, trying to observe your thoughts is really, really, really powerful.
Yeah. And people also think that if you're meditating, you shouldn't have a bunch of thoughts.
Right.
That your mind needs to be quiet.
Exactly.
That it's this pure bliss when really the majority of the time that you meditate, stuff comes through. You're processing.
Right. It's a moment of observing what's going on, not necessarily saying I have to be silent. It's just noticing oh, what am I putting my attention on? What's running on autopilot in my mind throughout the day? So
yeah. So I want to like hear a little background about you guys because I truly don't know that much about you. So can we, like, where do each of you come from? Like, what shaped you? What led you to this, like, to where you are today?
Yeah.
So whoever wants to start and go first.
Okay, sure. So it was around 2020 when I started hearing about manifesting again. My mom had introduced me to it. Like, we had watched The Secret when I was little, but I just completely, I guess, forgot about it and just ended up not believing in manifesting for a while. And it was 2020 when we're all in lockdown and whatnot. And I saw the quote, "You have the power to create your own reality." And I was like, that's not true. Like, no, we don't have any power. But I was like, you know what? If it's true, very grudgingly, I was like, if it's true, let me just test it out and see. And I ended up, deciding to move to New York and manifested the ability to move to New York. And I was like, okay, I'm going to test it out and see if I can manifest like experiences and friendships and a cool apartment, all these things. And literally so many things started coming true. So many things off my vision board. I started doing things like shadow work and started to be intentional and doing like the inner work to really level up my mindset and realized the more I level up my mindset, the more my life leveled up, the easier it was to manifest. So I just really started diving deeper and deeper and deeper into this work and realized that it was helping me so much and gaining confidence and gaining, the ability to create a life that felt good inside and outside. And I was like, I need everyone to know like how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I started posting about it, realized that mindset coaching, manifestation coaching was a thing. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And just fully leaned into it. I've taken, a couple of certifications and watched so many videos, so many books and all of this, and ended up, literally creating the life that was on my vision board a couple of years ago of being able to run my own business. And not only, what I was originally thinking, but able to do it with my best friend, which has been so incredible. And realizing that manifestation is very, very, very real. And you really have the ability to create a life that feels good inside and outside. Like, I really love helping other people level up their mindset because we really have the ability to feel so much better inside of our minds. And we'll probably get into it today, but I really believe that the world's a mirror. So the more you level up internally, the more your life levels up. And that's my mission, to help everyone do that.
Was there like a moment that you realized that you wanted to be the coach? Or that you wanted to do this? Like, can you pinpoint something specific?
It was definitely like it was right after I moved into a new apartment in New York. I was living with roommates originally. It was really fun. It was kind of like a friend situation. And I was like, okay, it's time to live by myself. Like, this is a little too much. And I didn't have live by myself money at the moment. And I was like, okay, let me just be delusional and let me pretend that I'm going to move in by myself in like a nice apartment and whatnot. And ended up manifesting that like within a few days of setting that intention. Wow. And that's when I was like, okay, guys, this is real. I need everyone to know that you really can manifest anything, that you can really feel really, really good. And realize like I ended up connecting with like another mindset manifestation coach. And I was like, wait, I want to do exactly what you're doing.
Oh, so you met somebody that did that.
Yeah, exactly. So
great. I love that so much. And what about you?
Yeah, so mine's a little different. My mom had her spiritual awakening when I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. So I've always been open and around this space, but never something that I was intentionally practicing. And I actually was an ER nurse for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so during that time, I had started travel nursing and I had moved to New York. And I had an incident that had happened at work a couple years prior. And I never addressed it. And it was like slowly starting to like cause a little anxiety inside of me. And I just was like, I'm going to ignore that. And it started to really surface when I was in New York. So I was in a big city for the first time. I was working at a level 1 trauma hospital. And
so different.
So different.
Yeah.
And so a lot was just starting to come up and kind of show. And that was the first time I was really experiencing like horrible anxiety. It was making me physically sick.
Wow.
Yeah. I had no one to talk to about it because I felt shame, because on the outside, my life looked so good. I was making so much money. I was in New York City, which is my dream city.
You're like, this looks so good on paper.
Right. I was having these amazing experiences. I had a lot of friends out there. But when I would come home, I was just crumbling. I was deteriorating, crying all the time. And then again, I didn't want to share it with anybody. So it just kept festering and festering and festering. And like
you
I said,
weren't aligned.
Something was off, and I was like, I need to do something. And my mom was like, you should read Dr. Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural, because she was like, he talks about the science. You're going to understand it. You're going to get really intentional with it, and it's going to be helpful for you. So I started deep diving him, and he says that if your thoughts can make you sick, your thoughts can make you better. So I was like, okay.
Your thoughts were making you sick.
My thoughts were making me sick because the anxiety, I was creating stress, perceived stress, and just like not truths. I was making these up, like these bad scenarios in my mind.
They're all stories in your head.
They were all stories in my head. And I was like, okay, I can become the observer of these thoughts. I don't have to align and believe these thoughts anymore. So that's when I started meditating, which if you asked me like 5 years ago, if I'd ever meditate, I would have been like, what are you talking about?
Like, no.
Sitting alone in my thoughts? No, thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like a big advocate for meditation, because I'm like, if I could have done it in the midst of my anxiety, in the midst of my intrusive thoughts, in the midst of being like, what's going on? Anybody can do it.
And that's what you were attracting too. You were putting out this like negative, anxious energy. And so you were getting that back. So like you really weren't happy. It's just this horrible cycle
It was
that you need to be able to like break.
Exactly. And meditation gave me the power to do that. Because just sitting there and being like, what's going on? What am I actually thinking? Where was the initial incident that caused all of these thoughts to start? I was able to really break it down. And so I'm, so thankful to that. And I started getting really intentional with my spirituality and just knowing that my mindset, I could make myself feel good. But what's so funny about Olivia and I's story is that when I was in New York, so I started this journey of being like, I'm going to be really intentional about healing myself and healing the anxiety that I was experiencing. And I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this TikTok that essentially said, you want what you want because your future self already has it. And I liked it, saved it, didn't think much about it. But at the time I was like, okay, I'm going to get a contract in California. I'm going to be by the beach. I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to find friends who are also into this and I'm going to feel better. And a couple months had gone by and somebody new that I had met was saying that they knew somebody who was also moving to LA. You should get connected with them. I was like, okay, cool. I get connected. It ends up being Olivia. I get connected with her. We were talking, all this stuff, whatever. And then later I went back and I had scrolled down to find another TikTok and I had found that video. And so I had messaged her and I was like, Olivia, I saved your TikTok talking about your future self only wants what it wants.
It was hers.
It was hers.
Stop.
Yes.
Yeah. How funny.
How funny is that? And so this was like months apart. And we have like no connection. We weren't even, living in the same city at the time. We had no mutual friends. So wild. And so, yeah, meeting Liv has really sped up the process because I had no friends who were really into it at the time too. So then I moved to LA, met Liv, we both got into it and even deeper than we already had been into it. And it's really beautiful.
I love that so much. And why did you choose the name Inspired Delusions?
Because we really, really, really believe in being delusional. And, again, we'll get into it on the podcast, but being delusional essentially is like believing in your goals, believing in your dreams, like your huge goals, your huge dreams, knowing that they're meant for you, even if that feels a little bit delusional. Like we really believe in dreaming big and expanding your mind and like really expecting the best case scenario, because truly what we are thinking about, what we are imagining is being created. So Inspired Delusions kind of came from, we both talk a lot about being delusional. So
yeah, being delusional really is the key to everything, because if you dream big, and we're rebranding delusional, that's the thing.
Right.
A lot of people,
there's a really negative connotation with delusional.
Right. They don't like the word delusional, but we love delusional. And I mean, even the definition of delusional, it's, if you're thinking about reality, what is reality? The reality that we're perceiving is only 0.001%. It's not really real. So if you're being delusional, you're breaking the illusion, right? You're disillusioned to what's actually going on. And that leaves you with the other 99.9%, which is like all energy and creation and, the quantum field and manifestation.
I love that.
Yeah. So we're breaking the illusion of what reality is by being delusional. And then Inspired Delusions came about because we wanted to inspire people. We're like, it worked for us. We have such amazing lives, amazing friendships, health, wellness, and if we can do it, you guys can too. So be inspired by the delusion.
So that's why I started the podcast too. That's the whole
Yeah. We just love, we talk about this stuff all the time, like literally all the time. And we're like, we need other people to hear this too.
I think there was like one day we were together and we were talking like on the couch for like 4 hours. And we were just like, where are the cameras? Like we wish somebody
record us.
Yes. Because it was so good. And we were having like profound insights ourselves. And we were like, we need to share this with other people.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes people get intimidated too about this when you hear like spirituality or manifestation or dreaming big. And it's like, hey, you like, come on, like just
it doesn't
join
have to
in.
be it's not complicated.
It's not complicated. You can make it really easy and you can really tailor it to you and your experience. And we just wanted to share that with everyone.
Yeah. I love that so much. I keep saying I love that, but I do. I love manifestation. So let's jump into manifestation because it's why we're here.
Yes.
How do each of you define manifestation and what do you see as the real steps to attracting your dream life?
Good question. Defining manifestation, I would say, is kind of bringing something from your thoughts, from your imagination to real life. That is kind of the definition of manifestation, but we also believe that, in the sense of, reality, like creation is already finished. There's infinite versions of reality. So it's really about tuning to a different version of reality to answer the second part of your question. So it's like, how do we actually tune to that version of reality that we want, that future you, right? You're seeing something in your mind. You only want something because that future you is living that life. There's a version of you who already has it. So, we have this future you formula that we have developed to really simplify manifestation, which is recognize, rewire, and regulate. Okay. So this is what we take our clients through. So the first one is recognize. So you have to recognize, what you want, right? That's the first step. Recognize what you want. You don't need to know the how. Really forget the how. Okay. Realize that's the universe's job, God's job, whatever resonates with you. And then you recognize what limiting beliefs that have been holding it back, right? What subconscious blocks, what limiting beliefs do you have around what's possible for you, around what's possible for your life? Recognizing those, because awareness is 90% of transformation. So you just become aware of your limiting beliefs. So then the second step is rewire. So that's rewiring your beliefs because your thoughts are really creating your reality. Right. Your beliefs are creating your reality. It's kind of like the lens in which you see the world, right? Your mind is really only showing you what you believe, like what you are looking for. So you have to rewire your beliefs. And then the third step is regulating your nervous system. So that was the missing piece for me for a long time because I was doing all this mindset work, the shadow work, the affirmations, all these things in my mind, but my body didn't really feel safe stepping into that next level of me or, calling in more money, more eyes on me, whatever it is. And so regulating your nervous system really is the missing piece for so many people to be able to, really, really attract that dream life and feel safe holding it once you call it in.
Do you think that feeling, if you don't feel safe, can that if you've done the other steps, can that block you? Like when you feel, because I find that, most of us live in a pretty stressed out state. Like most of us live in fight or flight the majority of the time. Like I think, the majority of the population just thrive with cortisol.
Yes.
So do you think that step can make you stuck?
Yeah, the safety component is so important because that could be where a lot of the limiting beliefs and the self-sabotage comes from because you might want something really bad. You might feel like you deserve it, but if you're not safe with it, how are you meant to hold on to it? Because you're going to start doing things that are going to create resistance and space between you and all your desires.
So it's about feeling safe with the thought. With the thoughts.
It's about, safe with feeling yourself, like feeling safety within, and then also feeling safety to be able to receive it. Right?
Feeling worthy too.
Feeling worthy,
Feeling worthy is a huge one. Yeah. One of Dr. Joe's really famous quotes is like, the universe gives us what we believe that we deserve. And that's a big part of what we do, and speak about as well as like that self-concept work, changing your identity of really believing that you are inherently, here's the thing, you are inherently worthy of receiving everything that you want. And it's just about coming back to that remembering.
You're in your own way.
You're in your own way. Like you literally are inherently worthy of receiving everything that you want. You just, sometimes we have those limiting beliefs that makes us feel like we're not worthy. It makes us feel like we have to do a certain thing or look a certain way.
It's so easy to fall into those traps. And a lot of it comes from like, obviously like trauma from childhood or there are so many triggers that we have and so many thoughts that we have from when we were little that stay with us.
Exactly.
And a big one is like not being enough and not being worthy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Every day we're having about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts and 95%.
That many?
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
And you don't feel like that because 95% of them are subconscious. And a lot of our subconscious beliefs, those are, the emotions, the memory, the long-term things we learned, like you said, they stem from childhood. They stem from 0 to 7 years old. It's
and
like
even
what we
those
picked up.
can get in your way.
Yeah, they do, unless you rewire them, essentially.
What are some ways to rewire them?
Yeah, so first of all, we can talk about a few different ways to rewire, but truly consistency and repetition really is the key. So some of the things.
How many times do you need to say it? Sorry, I'm throwing you off the first question.
It depends.
It depends on the person. It depends on how long it takes you to build those new beliefs up.
Yeah.
Like Olivia said, though, the repetition is just how long it takes, because you can decide. Ultimately, anybody can decide something in a moment and be like, I believe this now, because a belief is just a thought that you think over and over and over again.
Would you also say that it's a choice?
I think it's a choice because we all have the power. It all comes back to self. It's okay, yeah, it is a choice.
Yeah, and it is a choice because, a current belief, your current belief right now, if you believe that you're not good enough or you're not smart enough or whatever, that's just a neural pathway, right? It's a neural pathway in your brain that has been reinforced over and over again by you thinking that, you choose, thinking that thought over and over again. And it's a choice to intentionally be no, actually, I am good enough. I am worthy, because every time you think that new thought, it's strengthening a new neural pathway. And until the new neural pathway is stronger than the old neural pathway, that's when, the consistency and saying it over and over again starts to really build that up, the new belief.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also think it depends on how deep the old thought is for a person, because it's sometimes we have a lot of things. We have a lot of limiting beliefs that we're able to remove. And so it's some things it's really easy for us. Right. Other things it may take a little longer. But it's very personal, person to person.
Yeah.
But there's so many tools after you get clear on what those limiting beliefs are, which you can do shadow work to get clear on what's holding you back.
Yeah, let's talk about how to rewire, because I derailed us from my original question, and I really want to know that answer.
Yeah.
So before you rewire, you gotta recognize what's going on. So some tools that we use with our clients is shadow work. And shadow work essentially is just a lot of journal prompts that ask you the question why over and over and over again until you get to the root cause. And shadow work is a funny one. I think sometimes people get scared and intimidated to do shadow work.
It sounds really dark.
Yeah,
it sounds really
dark. We need to rebrand that too.
Yeah, we got to rebrand that too. We say the shadow portion, it just means feelings and beliefs and thoughts about yourself that you're hiding from yourself as well as from other people. It's kind of the things you put in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shadow work, we think about it as a mouse in a cave. You see a big, scary thing on the wall.
The shadow of yourself.
You see the shadow of yourself.
And then it looks bigger than what is actually being depicted.
Exactly. And then the journal prompts and asking yourself the question why, you shine a light on it and you realize it's actually a baby mouse and, something that happened from when you were 5 years old that as an adult you're looking at it and are like, that's not a big deal.
Right.
It's actually causing you to live your life in a certain way because at that time it imprinted a memory in your subconscious that was this wound, this means something deeper than what it actually is.
Yeah. So you figure out what you're believing, what those thoughts are. That's where meditation really comes in handy too, starting to observe what's going on, observe the patterns, observe what you're saying to yourself, recognizing what your self-talk really is. And then we're going to talk about rewiring. So rewiring, classic things like affirmations,
I love those.
Yeah. Affirmations are great. Again, repetition, consistency really is the key. Changing your self-talk, starting to observe if you are thinking something negative, being mean to yourself, being really critical of yourself, redirect. As soon as you catch it, start catching it and redirecting it and being no, actually, I am amazing. Really what we tell our clients is talk to yourself like you're talking to the 5-year-old version of you. Really kind, really patient, really, soothing to yourself over and over and over again. Really be your biggest cheerleader inside of your mind, because another quote we love is people echo back to you what you whisper inside yourself. So however you're talking to yourself, what you're saying is usually being reflected back to you by external people. So really changing your self-talk. We have a cheat code of rewiring your mind is listening to something like an affirmation track or subliminals at night, because your subconscious mind is still listening. It's still programmable even at night. So that's what we have our clients do, is like listen to subliminals at night. EFT tapping is another amazing way where we use EFT tapping with all of our clients to really go deep in rewiring their beliefs and removing those fears, removing the resistance. And, you know, even things like mirror work is another way to kind of amp up your affirmations.
Like talking to yourself in the mirror.
Talking to yourself in the mirror when you're looking at yourself. It's really kind of like speaking to your subconscious mind a little bit more directly. And so, those are some of our favorite ways to rewire.
I have a question. It's specific about me. So like, just to use an example, let's say I'm a Virgo, so I tend to be like somewhat critical, and it's kind of embedded in me from like my mom and her mom, right? It just was passed down, and it's not intentional, but it's just kind of the way that I am. So I'm my own worst critic. So that voice is negative, right? And I'm aware that it's there, right? Like I will acknowledge the fact that like I am self-critical. How would you walk me through rewiring that thought?
Yeah, well, I think first off, understanding that, and I get it because I'm a Virgo too. So I also have had to do this, is that sometimes people believe that they have to be mean to themselves to be productive, or that being tough on themselves is what's going to get the results. But it's really being kind to yourself and being loving to yourself is going to be get you the results, if not faster, easier. And so just imagine yourself talking to a child like you, like Olivia was saying earlier. It's like, how would you talk to the 5-year-old version of yourself if you're doing something quote unquote wrong or not well or not fast enough? It's like, would you yell at the 5-year-old version of you?
No.
Right. You would be so gentle with them. So it's like, you really have to reparent yourself, and you have to consciously choose in every given moment that you do come up against the, I'm like upset with myself type of energy.
Yeah. So like if I'm upset with myself for like I was sitting here in a recording, like waiting for someone to come, and that's totally fine. But I was like, why didn't I use that time to record something that I needed to record?
Okay.
And so I was being critical of myself, like literally in the middle of the night. And so, like, how would, like, for that being an example, and talking to my younger self, being like, it's okay that you did that. Like, it's really okay. Yes, you spent a little more money than you needed to, but it was an accident, and you didn't think about it, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. And I mean, also, like, now you know for next time, it's like, okay, I can be really productive next time. That's super cool that you learned that in the moment.
Yeah.
It already happened. Why are you beating yourself up in the middle of the night?
I do that all the time. It's the worst. It's like it comes in the middle of the night. When I like forget to do things, I beat myself up literally at 3 a.m. if I'm awake. And I'm like, this is not, and it's not productive because then I can't sleep.
Yeah.
But it's like that hamster wheel sometimes.
Yeah, really reparenting yourself. And I mean, even for you, like if you were our client, we probably would give you some like shadow work prompts to figure out maybe there are certain moments in your childhood where you did feel like that hypercritical feeling, or maybe got in trouble or something like that.
Yeah, it was my mom.
Right. And it's like, hey, okay, our parents were doing the best that they could, right? With the knowledge that they had. So going back to that younger self and kind of giving yourself what you needed to hear at that time could be really helpful. We also do, some inner child healing work, which is really powerful. I don't know if you've done that.
I'm familiar. I work with a coach, so I'm familiar with a lot of these. I just want to make sure that I pull it out for like people that don't,
Yes, exactly. So really reparenting yourself, your younger self is so helpful. And it really eventually will start to, you'll start to feel it now, right? Whatever you tell your younger self, you'll start to feel it now. And telling yourself over and over and over again that it's okay, and
rewire that. Give yourself the better thought.
Have you seen the rice study?
What rice study?
Or the water study, like Dr. Emoto's water study.
No.
Where it's like if you talk to water with love and kindness versus if you talk to water neutrally versus hatefully. And it's like the water that he talked to with love was incoherence, and it made like cute little snowflake crystals once they froze it, versus like the hate was like all like ugly, gross. And so it's like, right. So your body, it sounds so silly and so whimsical, but your body, it really responds to the love. So the positive self-talk goes a long way, even if it feels impostery or weird at first when you first start it.
It definitely can feel really weird at first if you've been very hypercritical of yourself, mean to yourself for a long time, and then you start trying to be nice to yourself, you're going to resist it at first. Yeah, you're like, well, no, what the heck? But just, you have to push through. You just have to really push through and really start creating those new neural pathways. And the water study really shows that our words are really our energy. You know, our intentions really does affect things outside of us. Yeah. So you have so much more power in creating happy feelings, good energy, good vibrations. When
you talk to yourself in the same way.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
For sure. Okay, so I'd love to hear your take on the law of assumption.
Yes.
And how you explain it in a way that like, just make it click. Like,
I love it.
We are obsessed with the law of assumption. The law of assumption is being delusional.
Yes.
The law of assumption is being delusional, and it's so simple. It's basically whatever you assume to be true is true. And that is a superpower, because you can decide and you can choose to start assuming something at any given point in time. Therefore, it's true. So we love law of assumption. Your assumptions, your thoughts, your energy, what you put on a certain situation, you do hold power and you can sway the way things work out. That's how I see law of assumption.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, whatever you assume, whatever you are imagining, visualizing is being created. Like that's what version of reality you're tuning to. And that's essentially what I started doing when I first started getting into this stuff as well. Because I realized, okay, in every situation, I can either think about the worst case scenario or the best case scenario. And I think a lot of people were like me, where you were kind of focused on the worst case scenario, trying to prep for the worst so you're not disappointed and things like that. But then I was like, okay, actually, if what I focus on expands, let me start focusing on the best case scenario. And you can start small. You can start with being like, okay, what if I get a good parking spot? Like, what if this meeting goes well? Like, whatever it is, you can start small and you'll start to really realize that what you are imagining, what you are assuming is going to happen really does start happening the majority of the time, most of the time. And so, yeah, you can kind of start expanding that out to be like, wait, actually, I'm so powerful. You can make it bigger and bigger and bigger and be like, whatever I assume is going to happen, right? And again, that might feel a little bit delusional at first when you're starting to get bigger and bigger, but it is so, so, so powerful.
This is completely separate. You mentioned your mom was very into this. Were your parents at all?
My mom was.
Like growing up, was this something that you witnessed? Because like for me, like this was not
at all
anything that anybody fed me growing up.
Yeah.
So like I never learned any of this. And I learned it very much a lot later in my life. And now I'm obsessed with it. But what about like you?
My mom was into it a little bit. She definitely didn't like force it on us by any means. I think she really let us kind of do our own thing. She was into it. She showed us The Secret, that type of thing.
Oh, right. You said she showed you The Secret.
Yeah, she showed us The Secret. And so she was into it a little bit, but not too much. And then once I guess went to college, and after that I was just like completely forgot about it.
Is she
completely
into it now?
She's so into it now because I'm into it now as well. So we kind of go back and forth, and she's like leveled up her life a lot using a lot of these techniques.
That must feel good to you too.
It's so good. Actually, I kind of force this stuff onto everyone in my life, all my family members, all my friends.
Because once you see it, you're like,
exactly.
You want others to see it too.
Exactly. I'm like, you can feel good too. Yeah. So yeah, my whole family's kind of into it now.
Also, on law of assumption, like you can assume that your loved ones who maybe aren't being a little intentional with the way they're moving through life. It's like you can start assuming that they're going to start seeing
and then they will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And law of assumption. If you're having a hard time focusing in on like a very specific assumption, we also recommend that our clients use umbrella assumptions. Something that I say a lot is like the universe is always conspiring in my favor. So the way I move through life is whatever happens, I always get what I want or something better. And Olivia was talking about earlier, like how people don't want to get their hopes up. It's like, okay, I now have an assumption that rejection is redirection. So it's like always something that I want or better. And it feels really good having that assumption and like really locking in those beliefs.
Yeah.
That's something I practice too. If not this, then something that is for the greater good. Like if like whatever spirit wants to bring me, if it's not this, it's something greater. And even if it is a negative, not negative, even if it is like a rejection or something, then maybe that wasn't supposed to be, and then something better will come.
Yeah.
But you still have to be open to whatever is greater. Because if you just stop right there, you're limiting yourself.
Right. Right.
Yeah, your perspective really is everything in life. And Albert Einstein has this quote that says, the most important decision.
Full of quotes. I love it so much.
I love quotes. He said the most important decision you can ever make is whether you believe that we live in a friendly or hostile universe. So it's like really making that decision that you are supported, that everything's happening for you, no matter what it's looking like. Just changes your perspective so much. And it's such a better way to live life, right? Like if you start assuming everything's happening for you and it's like, okay, awesome. Even if it is a little rejection, it's like, okay, that's making room for something better, right? And it's opening yourself up and continuing to hope for the best case scenario. And I always talk about how, you know, when you are hoping for the best case scenario, even if you end up not getting that exact thing that you wanted, you're still moving your vibration in a good direction. Like you're still moving towards your goals, moving towards this better version of life. And you might as well, think everything's happening for you. And we love this other quote that says, if it's happening, it's helping. And just deciding everything. You lose your keys. It's like, okay, thanks. Like I wasn't supposed to get to my place for an extra 5 minutes later or whatever. Like if it's happening, it's helping, because you might as well think that everything's happening for you instead of like getting annoyed and upset at everything.
Yeah. It's really radical optimism.
Yeah.
Radical optimism, which we love because why not? Like we think about it, we play the what if game, right? Okay. Everything has a 50% chance of happening. Yeah. So it's like, why would you not put all your energy into what you want to happen to happen? It's like, what if? And like actually feel the feelings. What if everything you wanted was to work out? How would you feel? Yeah. And really, really honing in on that feeling that you feel.
Yeah, that's something I practice too. I manifest all the time. I work with someone, and every time I've been working with her consistently, but every time we're like really working, I'm finding that like everything that I am desiring like comes true. So like, I'm with you guys on this. We've been talking, you've said a lot of quotes, but there's this line that I like that you've brought up. It's like a version of what Brad Gates said, that the extent to which you want something tends to be the extent to which you resist it. Can you explain what that means, and how can someone break the pattern?
Yes, this quote, it took me a while to understand what it meant, / I had to have him explain it to me. But basically my understanding of it is that you are the one who's creating resistance between yourself, where you are right now, and everything you're desiring. And it's like, as much as you want something, you're also that much putting resistance between you and it. And so it's, I guess, taking radical responsibility of how you're showing up, what you're believing, how you're carrying yourself in the 3D, where you're putting your attention in. It's like, okay, like you really have the power to shift and change things and get everything you desire.
Yeah. And especially, he teaches EFT tapping, right? And EFT tapping is really good.
Yeah. Can you explain what EFT tapping is, though, for people that don't know?
Sure. So it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's based on ancient Chinese medicine, where you're tapping on usually 8 or 9 different meridian points in your body. And our meridian points are kind of like our energy, like little energy centers. And when you're tapping on these places, it's kind of like
it's like a lymphatic or energetic lymphatic drainage. That's how I think about it.
She describes it really well of that. But it's if you have any resistance, fear, any of that stagnant energy that's kind of holding your manifestations back, holding your desires back, holding those good feelings back.
It's a way to move it.
It's a way to move it out, right? So especially when he's talking about that, and he's saying if you want something and you don't have it, somewhere you're holding it back, you're resisting it. And then the EFT tapping is really good for kind of like releasing that, releasing our fears, releasing the resistance, releasing whatever's going on. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the science of it, when we are tapping, bilaterally on these points, it's calming our amygdala down. And our amygdala is in charge of the fight or flight. So it's in charge of like our survival mode, like those anxious feelings. So when it's calming it down, it's kind of like, oh, wait, okay, I can have good things. I can, experience my desires. I can feel good. So EFT tapping is an incredible technique and modality that has helped a lot of people.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. You should try it.
I definitely should.
No, EFT tapping is great, and it doesn't take very long. It's like as little, or as like you could do it for like a minute, or you could do it up to an hour. We do it for a couple minutes with our clients, and it really is so powerful. I also like to explain it as, well, I guess Brad explained it to me like this, but essentially it's like medicine, right? Sometimes you take a painkiller and it takes the pain, it alleviates it right away. Or sometimes you take a vitamin and it's not like instant relief, but like, it's working towards something. So that's what EFT tapping is, because sometimes, how she was saying, you calm the amygdala, it helps release the cortisol, release the resistance against things. And so it's like, okay, I feel really good. And maybe you'll have an emotional release as well. Maybe you crying, yawning, feeling feeling really energetic. Or sometimes you do the tapping and you're like, I know it worked. I know it's for like my highest good, and you kind of keep it pushing, but it's so simple and it's free. Anybody can do it. There's so many videos on YouTube. It's really, really great modality.
Yeah. And consistency is key with that as well.
I think consistency with all of this is key, right?
Yes.
Is you have to keep
Yeah.
Exactly.
everything.
Keep at it.
Yeah, you just have to keep at it.
Yeah, keep at it. And a way to describe it too is kind of like your mental diet, right? It's like, okay, with your body, sometimes, continuing to eat healthy or continuing to like go to the gym, move your body. It's like, you have to like consistently do that. You can't just like do it for a month and then completely stop.
No.
Unfortunately. And it's the same way with our mental diet and our modalities that are helping our mindset and level up and manifest. It's like listen, anything can happen. You can stop doing it and you can be good. But if you need a little bit more support, like continuing to do it really is how you stay in that mindset, stay positive, stay optimistic, and moving towards your dreams and your goals.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like stuckness a little bit, when you feel stuck. So building off of what we talked about and the extent to which you want something tends to be the extent in which you resist it. What do you think is happening when someone feels stuck? And what do you think is underneath the stuckness? And I guess it could be different for people, but
Yeah, I think it's different for people. I also think it's different for the situation, because the way one might feel stuck about money is different than the way one might feel stuck about love. And I think it all comes back to the limiting beliefs and the way that you really feel about yourself and what you believe about yourself. I also think when you're leveling up, there's something called your upper limit, and people will sometimes hit this upper limit and they're like, oh, I've done everything I could do. I can't go any further. And it's like, okay, actually, no, like I am good. I am great. I can keep going. I am worthy of all these things. And a lot of these modalities that we're talking about, they help you kind of unstuck, if that makes sense. And it's like pushing past that. But ultimately, it's like you just telling yourself that you can do anything and you're worthy of anything is just as impactful as doing all these modalities.
Yeah. And something else too, if we're talking about being stuck and like maybe not feeling motivated or, having kind of that lack of motivation, what we also teach is dreaming bigger. Right? Like maybe you're stuck because you're not actually like letting yourself dream big and expect really, really good things and be delusional. You're not being delusional enough of your goals, of your dreams, of your manifestations, because we also learn from a neuroscience point of view that the bigger you dream, if you are letting yourself be delusional, if you are letting yourself dream big, like really, really big, you get more dopamine. And dopamine is kind of our motivational chemical.
Interesting.
So you literally get more motivation if you have bigger goals and bigger dreams. So that's also a key fixer. If you are feeling stuck and not motivated, it's like maybe you need to dream a little bit bigger.
So that you can feel the dopamine.
So then you can feel the dopamine and start taking the inspired action. And then, with that, regulating your nervous system so you don't kind of overwhelm yourself. Because even when you are, especially when it comes to like money, for example, when you start imagining and expecting like making a lot of money, it's a very highly charged energy. So it can kind of freak out our body and our nervous system. So really focus on regulating our nervous system to feel safe, expecting that. And then you start normalizing it, and then it doesn't feel so scary.
Yeah. And also like feeling inspired. Like when you have a bigger goal and you start feeling more inspired with your life, that makes you feel more dopamine.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that makes sense to me. Because as soon as I started on this journey and started feeling more aligned with what I was doing, I was more inspired because I also wanted to inspire others. And that makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you're vibrating at a much higher frequency all the time, not just in that aspect of your life.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a good point too, is how do you feel unstuck? It's also getting clear. Like, do you actually know exactly what you want? Are you in alignment with what you want? Does it feel good? Are you following your joy? Because a lot of times that's where the stuck comes too, is because we know, our subconscious knows, our higher self knows, our body knows that
you're not doing, you're not in the right path. You're not on the right. You're not on the right path. Not in the right path.
Exactly. Which is why, setting the intentions, getting clear on what you want. And it's okay if it takes a little while to get really clear on what you want. But taking the time to be intentional and really listening to yourself. And with the dopamine too, it's also the reward. It also provides reward too. It's like, okay, like I'm taking the inspired action. This feels really good. It's giving me motivation and it feels really good. So I'm going to keep doing what I need to do, whether that's energetically becoming more aligned with yourself or whether that's actually taking the inspired action in your day to day.
Yeah.
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 Dream bigger.
Extreme
delusional.
So I want to talk a little bit about identity and audacity because you guys talk about that a lot. How does someone actually rewire that identity? We talked about rewiring a little bit. Maybe this can be a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
And what does raising your self-concept look like in real life?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, first of all, rewiring your identity comes to asking, what are you identifying as? Like, right? That's the first step. It kind of, our formula also entails that as well. It's kind of how we teach our clients how to rewire their identity as well. Because it's like, first, recognize, right? Recognize, what are you identifying as? Are you identifying as, an unlucky person? You just can't do anything. You have to dream small. You can't make very much money, like whatever it is, like start to recognize what you're identifying as right now. And then here's the crazy part of how to rewire your identity is literally starting to identify as the type of person you want to be before you are that type of person. If you want to write a book, if you want to be a singer, if you want to be an artist, whatever it is, like start identifying as that type of person first.
By just saying like, I am X, Y, Z, whatever it is.
Yes, because our brain is always trying to make sure that we behave in the way that we are identifying as, right? So that's, we tell our clients too, of like, don't ever say that you're just like an anxious person or you're an overthinker or you're this.
Because that becomes your identity.
Yeah, because then your brain's just gonna be like, okay, I'll just make sure you keep doing that. Right? So it's literally, it can feel weird and it can feel kind of fake at first, but truly if you start changing, the sentence after I am, you will start changing your behaviors. So that's kind of, that's a huge step in changing your identity. Leveling up, what you think is possible for you, finding expanders, like surrounding yourself with examples of other people who can do it, kind of normalize it to your mind as well. And then, regulating your nervous system is huge too, because as you are changing your identity, as you are stepping into this next level of you, again, you kind of hit that upper limit. You're like, whoa, you might start feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome. And that's a side note, but imposter syndrome is a good thing. Okay, we can change our perspective on imposter syndrome because it means that you are leveling up. It means you are in rooms where, it's new. It's a new experience. You're surrounded by smart people. You're surrounded by all these successful people. It means that you are leveling up too. So if you are feeling imposter syndrome, realize that that's a good thing. And it's, can feel a little bit scary.
Everyone thinks it's such a negative thing.
Everyone thinks it's a negative thing.
He has imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, of course. Like if that's the first time you've ever done something, of course you're going to feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, but that's actually a good thing. It means you're stretching and growing. And, doing the scary thing is a huge way to change your identity because so many people, think that you have to just not be scared to do something, right? But it's really pushing yourself and doing the scary thing, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to get to that next level. And sometimes it can feel scary, but we are very capable. We are very, very capable beings. You can feel the fear and do it anyways. So, those are some ways.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah. Nothing to add.
Yeah, one thing to add. So our brain. So you said that our brains is always trying to prove us right. And there's different aspects of that in our brain. But I do want to talk about the reticular activating system.
The what?
Reticular activating system.
Okay, what is that?
It's so short, your RAS. And essentially it's a part of your brain that acts as a filter. So we're talking about the identity. It's like whatever you're identifying as, whatever you deem important, whatever you're looking for, your brain will literally filter out everything to prove exactly what you want. So it's like, okay, if you have these certain beliefs that you want to be proved right about, if you have this identity that you want to and start embodying and start identifying as and start seeing in yourself, your brain will go out of its way to filter that out in your reality. So then you're like reinforcing to yourself like, oh, I'm thinking this, now I'm seeing it, so it must be true. So it's kind of like a feedback loop, and it's super cool because you can use it to your advantage just by kind of being mindful of your thoughts and saying, hey, I am, right? The I am is so powerful, or this is my truth, right?
Yeah.
So it's super cool because your brain's always like, whatever you want, we can do it for you.
Yeah. And
wild.
It is really wild because another really crazy number is that our subconscious mind is intaking 11 million bits of information per second, right?
Second. Is that crazy?
And the reticular activating system is in charge of 40 out of the 11 million bits that we pay attention to. So an opportunity, a situation could be right in front of you, but if you have a belief, right? If your self-concept is like, I'm an unlucky person, money's hard to make, like nothing good happens to me, an amazing opportunity could literally be in front of you, but your brain's just gonna be like, oh no, you're an unlucky person, so let me not show that to you. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it really is. In changing your self-concept, you mentioned the self-concept that's where starting to identify like as a lucky person, as everything's happening for me, starting to be
you'll
nice.
see the things that are actually happening for you instead of not witnessing them because of the negative. It literally, it all boils down to like whatever you think and whatever you believe to be true is true.
Yes.
Does come true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, literally. And like, I mean, even interactions, right? You could be going into an interaction, you could have the thought of like, this person doesn't like me. And they could be totally neutral in the way they're showing up. And you'll look at it and be like, they hate me. They're being so mean. They're being so rude.
Yeah.
And it's like, that all comes back to like what you're assuming, what you're believing to be true. Like your beliefs will always be proved to you, whether it's through, your brain and the neuroscience portion of it, or it's through the universe reading your frequency. And that's what you're in alignment with. So those are the interactions. Because also like the universe wants to make you happy. It's like, okay, whatever she's focusing on, that's what I'm going to give her, those opportunities, situations, scenarios, whatever.
Yeah. And the universe is always saying yes. So it's like, if you're saying, okay, nothing good happens to me, universe is like, okay, here you go. Just make sure you have more of that, right? Like whatever we're focusing on, the universe is just like, okay, I'll give you more of that. Whatever you're focusing on, whatever your intentions are, the universe is just always like, okay, I'll give you more of that.
That's also how people get stuck. Is that it's just a loop, right? Like the universe is just constantly giving people back what they think about themselves, what they're seeing to be true, everything. It's like, well, here you go.
Right. But then when you really understand that what you're seeing to be true, like you can't really rely on it, it's not really real, and you start putting your focus and your attention on the possibility and all the other things that could happen, and you start vibrating at like a higher frequency and getting excited and feeling
like higher than what you even see.
Right, like just different. Like what we see, like what you see in any given moment, that's not the full truth. There's so much more around it. And so it's like, okay, if you're looking at people are like, okay, if you're looking at a scenario in your 3D and you don't really like it, it's like, just ignore it. That doesn't mean, like throw out all responsibility and not handle what you need to handle, but it's like just emotionally and energetically ignore it, because you can put your focus on the potential of something else happening, which is like where the, meditation happens and the visualization and the just like being intentional with like, okay, I'm the creator, I'm source, I'm God. I can literally make something happen in this reality for me.
That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
Like we really are so much more powerful than we know.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody can practice it. If you just take a moment and like maybe start journaling on all the things that like you thought to be true and then that happened, whether it was positive or negative, you probably would find so many examples from your past that proves that it's true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But it's exciting because not a lot of people have this knowledge or are open to this, but it's like we really are. Like we're superhuman. We can create anything we want in our reality. And that's the other thing about manifesting. You asked us our definition earlier. Everybody's manifesting at any given point in time.
You just don't even realize it.
Yes.
You're either manifesting something that you don't really want or that you do want.
Yes, exactly.
And you're not even realizing that you're doing it.
Yes, exactly. We're all creating our own reality. We might as well get intentional with
About
the reality.
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to hear about Audacity before we wrap. So can you talk a little bit about what does it mean to you and how can someone begin embodying more of it?
Great question. That is a huge, huge, huge thing that we talk about because truly, again, we get in this life like what we believe that we deserve, what we are asking for, what we are imagining. And that is a huge part of leveling up your life in a lot of ways, is just having more audacity of like asking for more and realizing that you actually can have what you want. It's not like greedy to ask for more. It's not bad to want more out of this life. And I was use the example of like very successful, very high up people in positions of power. They're not special. They're not smart. They're not better than you. They literally just have more audacity of like going after the things that they wanted. And so when you remember that you are the only person that's holding yourself back, another quote, which is, you will be free when you realize the cage is made of thoughts. So the only cage, the only limits that you have are literally inside of your own mind. So if you're not letting yourself ask for the best, right? Ask for more, you're the roadblock to your dreams. Like you're not even letting anyone else say no to you. You're saying no to you. So really having more audacity is just realizing that you can. Like you can ask for more. You can have more. As long as you can imagine something, you can create it, right? You can manifest that. You can create that version of life. So having Audacity is really remembering that you are amazing, asking for more, not having shame around that, not being embarrassed, and realizing that when you get what you want, you really are helping the entire world go in the good direction, and you're inspiring other people. That's a big way that I got over thinking that it was like bad to ask for more and live this amazing life. I was like, oh wait, no, I'm going to be able to inspire other people and be like, wait, no, like this stuff really does work. We really can live our dream lives. So that's my thoughts on Audacity.
Yeah, I think a big or a popular limiting belief is that if you ask for more, you're taking away from other people. But the truth is, this universe, this world, it's very abundant. There's room for all of us. And when you realize, like when you are looking for these expanders, right, you're looking at these people who they have everything and you're like, I want to be like you. I want to have it all too. Like Olivia said, you realize they're just everyday normal people too. They just believe in themselves. So we have control over being audacious. It's like, go after what you want, put yourself in those rooms, feel excited that you're feeling imposter syndrome, but just know that you're meant to be exactly where you're meant to be. And that becomes easier with the positive self-talk, with the hyping yourself up, with being like, of course, like I'm the universe's favorite. I'm so amazing. I'm the universe experience itself. I'm meant to be here. And like when you really love on yourself, you see things shift so quickly. And it's like, why wouldn't you be audacious? If you really knew that the world that we lived in was just so generous and abundant and there was nothing running out, why would you not ask for everything? Like, why not? And why not? Actually, literally, it's like you should just ask for everything, because it's like, I mean, we're here. Earth is a playground, and we're here doing whatever we need to do. So why would we not create our dream reality?
Amen. Yes. For real. Okay, so before we wrap, I want to ask a couple reflective questions, like one for each of you. If you could go back, what would you tell your younger self?
Great question. Someone just recently asked me that, and my answer that I'm sticking with is dream bigger. Literally dream bigger, because the faster that you expand your mind, the faster that you do ask for more and dream so wildly big and be delusional, the faster you're going to get there, right? It's like you can make a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan and be like, okay, why not get there sooner? Exactly. So it's like it's shortening the timeline, right? It's collapsing the timeline and being like, wait, no, actually, the faster that you dream bigger, the faster that you expand your mind, the faster you're going to get there, right? Like the quicker you're going to level up your life. And we always talk about another reason why it's really great to be dreaming big and being delusional is that, let's say you figure out what you want and then you 10x it and be like, okay, actually, I want 10 times that amount of success or money or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you end up getting 10% of your huge goal, you're still back where you started. So it's just like you ultimately, like the bigger you dream, it's not hurting you in any way. It's moving you in that direction and you're going to get there a lot faster. So that's my advice, is dream bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine would probably be just be yourself. Like authenticity is really, really key. And just you're so full of love, and you are love, the embodiment of love. And it's something that I heard a while ago was, if you're good enough for God, who aren't you good enough for? And that really just like, that felt so right in my heart that I was like, yeah, wait, why am I dimming my light when my authenticity is literally perfect? The way I show up is perfect. So yeah, just be yourself. And that's so silly. Like, I feel like everybody gives that advice, but the older I've gotten and the more I've practiced this and the more really loving and obsessed I've become with myself, I'm like, yeah, you actually are so perfect, and anybody can feel that way.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a positive self-talk too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the more that you do that,
The easier it is.
yeah.
Yes.
Of course. So I'm going to end with a prayer.
Oh,
May we carry what we need, release what we don't, and stay open to the magic that still is unfolding. So thank you for sharing your heart and sipping your matcha with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was amazing. We hope
So
everyone
fun.
is dreaming bigger and remembering that they are so, so, so worthy of receiving everything that they want.
Yes, agreed. Dream bigger, people.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to No Matcha, No Mama. If you loved the episode, share with a friend, leave a review, or come say hi on Instagram. My handle's at Dina De Laurentiis. If you would love to connect with the Inspired Delusions girls, their handles are at Olivia Rose Thomas and at Kayma_W. And you can also find their podcast, which is Inspired Delusions, and that's their handle. So, but don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube and my Spotify if you never want to miss an episode. And remember, thriving takes intention. See you next time.